For this project, I'm using one of the long and tall signs from Dollar Tree. They're about 6 inches wide and about 21 or so, I think maybe actually 24 inches tall. And then I've also got a napkin and the thankful sign from Dollar Tree, as well as a little Dollar General pumpkin. So I'm going to start by just giving the back of my sign a nice chippy finish. So I just take some wax using a votive candle and just rub it sort of wherever I want to all over the board. And then I am using some apple barrel paint from Walmart called Mountain Blue, and just doing a first coat with that. You might be able to tell that there are a couple of spots that aren't covered with paint. That's totally okay because we are going for a chippy look in the end. After I got it all dried, I just took my paint scraper and just scraped off as much of that paint as I wanted to. And then I'm going to repeat the process with the next color, which is going to be a gray, and this is again an apple barrel color. It's called Country Gray, and you can get this at Walmart. And now I'm just gonna start scraping again. And as I was doing this, I found that if I sort of stayed going in the same direction up and down, it gave it more of a wood look, almost like I had scraped a piece of rough barnwood. Now I'm taking that thankful sign from Dollar Tree. I just removed the hanger from the outside and just used a hammer to hammer in those staples to make sure that they were nice and flat. And then I just took a plaid napkin that I have. I removed the backing, and now I'm using a glue stick to start gluing the napkin down. And I'm just doing it piece by piece, little by little, and I can just gently pull it up if I need to get all the wrinkles out. And I want it to be just nice and flat. You do not need to trim this ahead of time if you don't want to. I will say it is really important to be sure that you get glue stick all the way out to the edges. Now you're just going to take some scissors and just cut away some of that excess napkin. Now comes the fun part. We're going to use a lighter to remove the excess. So you're just gonna take a grill lighter and just light the edges on fire. Just be careful, be sure to move your hands out of the way, and it will just start to burn away all of that excess napkin. So you just do that until it goes all the way around. And then when you get to the parts that are in the inside, you're gonna take just anything. I used my scraper and just poke holes. You want to be able to get to the edges of that napkin. I will say I have tried this before, and I have found that the only thing that works is to use a glue stick. It does not work very well using Mod Podge. The glue stick really is the best option for it. And it doesn't work as well if you use a thicker piece like paper or something along that line. Now I'm just taking my sanding block and just trying to kind of sand off a little bit of those burned edges, just ever so slightly. So now I'm just taking a look at it, and I realize that I don't quite like it on the gray. It just doesn't show up too well. So I decided to do a third coat, and I'm going to use the Hello Hobby paint from Walmart, and I'm using Chalk Sage. So for the third time, I'm just gonna scrape away as much of that excess as I want so that I can reveal the gray and the navy underneath. This is the little Dollar General pumpkin I got for $1, and I just want to remove that stand that's on the bottom. I want this to lay flat on my sign, so I want to remove as much of that as I can. And then I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose pliers, and I'm just putting it up underneath the grateful and just sort of wiggling it back and forth to remove that off of that pumpkin. And then I'm also taking that raffia off, which was stapled on. Now I'm just taking that Mountain Blue by Apple Barrel that I used on the sign, and I'm just going to coat my pumpkin really well in the navy blue. I want to give it a little bit of a distressed edge, so I'm just taking a sanding block and just sort of gently distressing the edge. I don't want that pink to show through. Now I'm just taking the same raffia bow that was on it, and I'm just going to glue that right back on. And then I'm just going to use my hot glue to glue down the thankful and the pumpkin. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this craft.